Coming up on today's show,
we debut a new segment called Pick 6, where we answer your listener questions. Although if this guy at JoeThomas73 keeps spamming us, we're going to have to shut it down.
Oh, and we have Ohio's own Travis Kelce joining the show to talk no-look passes, talking shit, and taking one. We'll explain.
Also, I don't care what anyone says, M&Ms are a candy bar. Joe, hawk yourself if you don't agree.
All this and much, much more coming up on the ThomaHawk Show.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the ThomaHawk Show. It's your boy, your humblest of all co-hosts, Andrew Hawkins, joined as always by, in my opinion, the best left tackle in NFL history, Joseph Hayden Thomas. Listen, if you are living under a rock and this is your first time hearing the best piece of content to ever hit audio airways, I need you to subscribe, rate 5 stars so you don't ever miss it. This is not something you want to leave your life now that it's in it, okay? It's similar to indoor plumbing, right? It's hard to live without. Interact with the show at ThomaHawk Show on Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, all of that. Facebook group, ThomaFlock. What else? Call our voicemail, 440-628-1376. Leave us a voicemail so we can play it on the show. We always love when you guys leave us hilarious voicemails. We laugh while Joe is drinking his spiked coffee that he likes to drink. Joe, how you doing this morning, man?
I'm doing good. I've recovered. I've become optimistic once again for my Browns season. Yeah. It's just like going through an NFL season, right? After the game, if you lose, you feel terrible on a Monday. Mm-hmm. But by the time Tuesday, Wednesday rolls around, you've reset your mindset. You're back into looking forward at next week's game, and you're optimistic, and you've convinced yourself as to why you're going to win on Sunday. So I am absolutely sure the Browns will not lose on Sunday, because they play on Monday this week.
Yeah,
but on Monday, they're actually going to win, and I can't wait. So I'm jazzed, and it's going to be a great show today.
All right, awesome, man. Listen, on today's show, we got Kansas City Chiefs All-Pro tight end, three-peat guest of the ThomaHawk Show, or as he calls it, the ThomaHawk. Also a Cleveland native. He's joining us here today. Super excited about that. We also answer a bunch of your questions in a segment that we call Pick 6. Right? So we're letting you, as our listener, produce the show because we suck at it. So we call in for free help, and that's what you provide. Joe, you talked about the Browns, man. Yesterday was Monday Night Football. And that was a terrible segue because the Browns had nothing to do with that. But yesterday was Monday Night Football. Did you watch either game or both games?
So as you know, Hawk, I am an early riser, which means I go to bed very early. Okay. But I was able to stay up for the entire first game.
Okay.
So I watched the game, which happened to be one of the greatest endings probably in NFL history. Yeah. It's going to go down as probably the greatest Monday night opener in NFL history because in the last 2 minutes of that game, the lead switched back and forth. The improbable happened seemingly at every turn, and the Texans found a way to lose to the Saints, which was good for me because I picked the Saints in the Super Bowl versus the Browns this year, and so that kept me feeling pretty good. Joe Flacco, he was kind of like Joe Flacco. A little bit of what we expected him in Denver. He wasn't great. He wasn't awful, but he kind of was who we thought he was going to be in that second game. Oakland looked pretty good. David Carr.
That was a surprise.
Derek Carr. David Carr wasn't playing. Derek Carr.
David Carr plays with you. He's on the NFL.
Derek Carr.
He's on your team.
He came out and played really well under John Gruden, and maybe that tough love that Gruden's been giving him all offseason might pay off, and this might be the Derek Carr that we saw a few years ago when he was potentially an MVP candidate.
Somehow Antonio Brown actually did bring the Oakland Raiders together. Well, I'll be damned.
How about that?
Those 3rd and 5th round pick, actually worth it. I have a question.
Think about how crazy
Joe.
This would be.
Go ahead.
Is if Antonio Brown gets booted from Oakland, they win, look really good. Derek Carr looks amazing, throwing the ball to people that we've never heard of. And what happens if the Patriots lose in week 2 when it's Antonio Brown's first game? Wouldn't that just be the ultimate karma in the entire world? You would just have to admit karma is real if the Patriots lost after what we saw from Oakland on Monday night.
If the Patriots lose to the Dolphins in week 2 with Antonio Brown, there is going to be a lot of people who need triple fat goose winter jackets in hell because there is no way possible that is going. The Dolphins are going to beat the Patriots in week 2. That is a drunk take. That is a.
I didn't say it was going to happen. I'm saying if it did happen, it would be amazing.
All right. Well, let's talk about the first game, which I seen a little bit of. I seen the ending. My son actually showed me when I got home. One thing that stuck out to me is Deshaun Watson is still pretty good. And I put up an old tweet of Joe's. It says, in case you forgot, I like Deshaun Watson, but let's not put him in the Hall of Fame yet. He's got to prove he can do it for a full season. Now that teams have a scouting report on him, I'm excited to see if he can do it in year 2. This was in 2018, January of 2018, Joe. How are you feeling about Deshaun Watson?
I love Deshaun Watson. I think he has improved the way a lot of people have expected him to improve. He continues to be able to throw the ball down the field. He's got great weapons at the receiver core. But the thing that I'm still worried about is the number of hits he takes. He was just getting clobbered all over the field on Monday night. And I worry for a guy that's not a huge guy, is he going to even be able to survive a season? They tried to upgrade their offensive line by trading for Laramie Tunsil from the Dolphins. He's a good left tackle. He was helping him, but I think Deshaun Watson still needs to do a better job of protecting himself, because quarterback, yes, your offensive line does a lot to protect you, but you need to protect yourself. You need to be able to get rid of the football when you have to get rid of it. And every play doesn't have to be a big shot down the field. That was one of the things that we thought Baker struggled with in week 1, is he so desperately wanted to throw the ball down the field to Odell and all those weapons, and he was holding on to it because he wanted to make the big play, when sometimes the big play is just not there. Take the check down, throw to the running back, throw to the tight end, or throw it out of bounds. Live to see another down. Don't try to kill yourself every play trying to throw the football down the field.
All right, well, you're already giving hot takes on all kind of game seasons, quarterbacks, situations. It's time to get into our first segment that we're calling Pick 6.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. This is Pick 6.
In this segment, we're going to pick 6 questions from all of social media, from our voicemail line, from the email, you name it. The fans have given it to us, and we're going to answer them live on the show, me and you, talking about what we know, which is the game of football. Before we get into the Pick 6 segment, just a reminder of all the ways you can get in touch with the show. Hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, at ThomaHawk Show. Join our Facebook group, ThomaHawk, ThomaFlawk, for all of you that have been living under a rock and don't understand exactly how we do things. Lastly, call our voicemail, 440-628-1376. Our first question is from IG, _defensive minded, says, should the Browns inquire about an OT? Maybe Trent Williams. Joe?
How ironic that the defensive minded Instagram name is asking an offensive question. Well, I can guarantee, Mr. Defensive Minded, that John Dorsey has talked with the Redskins and wants to know what the price for Trent Williams would be. The Browns struggled at tackle last week, but mainly because Greg Robinson got booted out of the game early on. They had to move Hub to the left tackle. They brought in Kendall Lamb, who got injured right away, and so they were down to their third string left tackle. And those guys, they struggled throughout the game. But Trent Williams is one of the great offensive linemen in football. He's one of the greatest left tackles in history. So if the Browns could pick up a player like that, it would make them better. So there's no doubt that John Dorsey has talked to the Redskins, but I'm sure the Redskins aren't going to give him up for nothing. He's a guy with enough talent, and he's still young enough in his career that he's going to take a first-round pick and something else to get him. And I would think it would probably be a first and something like a third. And I think at this point, that's still probably just a little too rich for John Dorsey, because even though it would make their team better, I still think John Dorsey looks at these tackles, Greg Robinson and Chris Hubbard, and says, these guys are good enough for us to win with. And giving up a first and a third is too much for how much better they would get by adding a guy like Trent Williams. So I don't think it happens unless this holdout extends way into the season and the Redskins clearly know that they have got to get rid of him, because he clearly won't be playing for them ever again.
Whew, when that seat starts to get hot, I'm not insinuating that whatsoever, but they have a very, very talented roster. They need to win soon. All right. So, okay, question 2 comes from Twitter. Saj Bobcat, which I don't understand that Twitter name either. Serious question. Given complaints of beer being poured on a player, should the NFL consider banning players from leaping in the stands for player and fan safety? Personally, I'm okay with the Lambeau leap, just inquiring if it will eventually come to that. Joe?
Hawk, you take that one first.
All right, I'll go first. I think they might already ban players jumping in opposing stands. I think that's against the rules.
That's correct.
So it's only home you're supposed to do it. That being said, I do think it's an a-hole thing for a fan to pour beer, even if it's an opposing player, on the player. And obviously we're talking about the situation where the Titans player jumped into the fans in Cleveland, into the dog pound, and a couple of the fans threw beer on him. And I get the fans are like super passionate. I just think it's opening up a can of worms that it probably will come to that. Yo, just when you jump in the stands, we're sending big fine letters to everybody. Everyone's getting fined because you don't want a situation like Malice in the Palace. You know, you don't want that to be a situation. Nobody wants that to be a situation. Fans don't want that. Players don't want that. So we probably need to mitigate that ASAP.
Decisions have consequences. If you violate NFL rules and you jump into the away team stands, you should expect people to dump beer on you. We're talking about beer here, guys. We're not talking about throwing glass bottles. We're not talking about he shanked him when he came into the stands. He got beer on his jersey. I'm pretty sure he doesn't do his own laundry. He's going to be okay. But if you break the rules, you should understand those fans aren't just going to put up with it and just accept it. They're going to throw beer on you. And then you're going to go on your merry way. You're going to get your $15,000 fine from Roger Goodell. That's the way it should be. So don't jump into the away team stands. Decisions have consequences. Someone should tell AB that there's rules, and if you break the rules, stuff happens, and you might not like that stuff.
That is a stupid take from Joe. Yes, decisions have consequences. That doesn't mean you get to do whatever you want. Like, you don't get to throw beer on another person. If I see you in the bar and you came and talked to my lady and I threw beer in your face, is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I didn't break any rules.
You did break a rule. You broke the unwritten rule of don't talk to my lady.
So now we're talking about unwritten rules.
You better hope I don't break your face.
Okay.
First.
We're talking about unwritten rules. Now we're talking about ego and respect.
So you're talking
That's
about
different.
unwritten consequences? Like
if I came up to you
beer on players, that makes zero sense to me.
If I came up to you in a bar and I punched you in the face and I broke the law, I would expect that you would throw your beer on me because you're a little baby and you'd be afraid to punch me back because I'm so much better in shape than you are. I know your your Mountain Dew and pizza diet would have no chance against a chiseled Mr. Clean bald guy like myself. So you'd probably dump beer on me to get back at me.
Because I'm soft, right?
You're very soft.
So you agree that if a fan throws beer on a player, it's soft because you know you're protected and you know you're in an environment where that player can't grab you by your neck and choke you out in front of 70,000 screaming fans. If that's your take, we should probably nip it all in the bud. Yes, player.
We're not talking about the fan right now.
No,
we're talking about
don't throw
Logan
beer at
Ryan.
somebody that you would not throw beer on if you've seen him out in the public.
We're talking about Logan Ryan holding back and not violating the NFL rules and jumping into the away team stands.
Okay.
We're not talking about a fan who broke the rules also by throwing beer. Yes, he's going to get in trouble. But let's not make this mountain out of a molehill here because Logan Ryan, don't jump in the stands. You won't have beer dumped on you. You don't have to cry about it.
Okay, so you don't think the player should be penalized. The player should be punished and the fan should be punished.
He will be.
Okay, as long as everyone's punished, we're on the same page.
All right, let's move on.
All right, next question. From Facebook. This is from Malik Matlock, who is clearly the cousin of the famous detective. Excluding yourselves.
Do you remember what that...
The black cousin of the famous detective, Malik Matlock.
Malik Matlock. I would love to see a nice ThomaHawk Show meme with Malik Matlock and see what he looks like. That would be good.
We need him to continue to produce our show. All right, excluding yourselves. Who's the most talented player you've played with? Curious as to where Josh Gordon ranks among them. Go Browns and Joe Hawk yourself. It's a great question.
Boy, I'm going to take this one first, and I'm going to say, honestly, I think Josh Gordon is the second most talented player that I ever played with.
Number 2.
Big, fast, physical, quick, strong, great hands. One of the best set of hands out of any receiver I'd ever played with. But the most physically talented player that I ever played with was a guy that went by the name Big Baby, Sean Rogers. And I'm not sure if you were in the league when he was playing, but I'm sure your brother was.
Yep.
This dude was 380 pounds. He could take a 16-pound shot put. He could dunk it. He had over a 30-inch vertical. And when we used to do banded bench press, we used to do chain bench press in the weight room, which kind of measures explosion.
Yep.
He would be using 100 pounds more than Alex Mack and I, and we weren't weaklings, but he would use 100 pounds more than us, and he would move the bar 20% faster. And that's no exaggeration. And so meatheads that are listening to this podcast, we've used those Tendo machines that measure how fast the bar is moving, and his would be at like 1.2 meters per second. And me and Alex would be using 135. He was using 225. We'd use 135, and we'd be moving between 0.9 and 1 meter per second, which was unbelievable. This guy could broad jump over 10 feet. He was literally a tight end the way he could move in a 380-pound body. And his contract said he had to be under 360 pounds to play, and he struggled to get there because he was so freaking big.
All right, that's a good take. Josh Gordon ranks for me probably 1B.
Whoa.
It's tough.
You're 1A or am I 1A?
I'm also
you
a former New
me.
England Patriot, and I played with some greats, including Tom Brady. You know, me and that guy, we did it up big. But excluding
Tom
the
Brady
Patriots, excluding
is the
myself
least
and
physically talented player that you've ever played with.
Gronk was a different kind of dominant in practice too, even for the 17 practices I was there. But we'll exclude the Patriots. I'm gonna say Gordon is 1B to AJ Green, and only for this reason, only because Josh had some issues going on when I first got to Cleveland, and I heard, like, you know, when I got there, guys like Joe were singing his praises, like, nah, man, you don't get it. That guy is our only hope. Like, he's the best on the team. He does this, he does that. And he wasn't really a hard worker, obviously, in practice, right? So I had trouble seeing it. And he had a lot of stuff going on in his life, and he was not showing up, and he wasn't looking great in practice. He would quit on balls and things like this. This is early on. He leaves after he gets suspended. He comes back when Hugh is there. Now, he had a stint with Hugh early on where Hugh was basically like, yo, if you're not all in, we're going to get rid of you. And I don't know where Josh was in his life, but he responded, and he was practicing hard. And to see how dominant this dude was in practice, like, I told somebody, I'm like, yo, if he stays healthy and he is, you know, stays clean and is able to play in the season, he will probably break the receiving yard record eventually, because it was that effortless to the dude. 6'5". We would run these conditioning, and I always pride myself on being the first guy to finish in conditioning. I had really good conditioning. Obviously, I'm a smaller guy. I got to be the best at that. And we would have these sprints, and this dude would take off and literally blow right by me. And I'm a fast dude, but he was just different. So his 1B is only to AJ Green, but it's second to only AJ Green. AJ was dominant literally from the day he stepped into the NFL. Like 2011, he was a rookie. They had just gotten rid of Terrell Owens, Chad Ochocinco, Carson Palmer. He told the Bengals, like, I will never step foot in your facility ever again. I will retire before I play for you. AJ Green came in and was just dominant in the league, dominant in practice, was clearly the best player on our team by a large margin. So he was a physical freak as well.
So one reason that I think you probably weren't blown away by Josh right away in practice is because his stride length is so long that when you see him running, he doesn't look like he's moving that fast until you see the little DBs trying to keep up with him. And he's taking one stride for every two of theirs. And so he just blows by people. And I think early on in his career, especially, guys would be standing out there with a huge cushion, and he would start running at him full speed. And it didn't look like he was moving that quickly. And all of a sudden they'd open their hips and turn to run. And he would just blow right past him.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. Like, I was just really not impressed at the beginning, like, because he wasn't going up for contested catches. He wasn't.
It's okay.
Like, if the ball was too far,
you're a bad
stop.
scout.
I was a terrible Josh Gordon scout. Also, Browns fans hate to hear this, but I couldn't be more happy for the dude right now. I'm hoping he keeps it together. He's killing it. He really is a good person. He just had a lot of struggles. All right, we'll go on to the next question. What are we on? Question number what?
We're number 4 here. This one comes from Reddit.
Okay.
This is Ghost in the Sean. Another interesting name.
Wow.
Actually, coincidentally enough, is there any names on Reddit or Instagram that make any sense?
Yeah.
I'm not on either one of them, but it seems like none of them make any sense.
Yeah. Well, my Instagram name is Hawk.
Whatever happened to like Andrew Hawkins 86 or like, your name and then your birthday or your name and then the year you're in, or are all those already taken?
Yeah, this isn't 1998.
This isn't your AOL screen name?
Yeah, nah, man.
1996.
All the good usernames are taken. You better get creative.
Week 1 is in the books, but DraftKings isn't finished celebrating with some huge fantasy football contests. For week 2 of the football season, DraftKings, the leader in one-day fantasy football, is giving new users a free shot at over $1.5 million in prizes with your first deposit when you put in code TOMAHAWK during signup. Draft your lineup and feel the sweat like never before. Every run, throw, and catch mean more with a DraftKings lineup on the line.
It's simple. Just draft your lineup, stay under the salary cap, and see how your team stacks up against the competition. Plus, all new and existing users can get a deposit bonus up to $500. That's some extra cash to play with this football season. Nothing adds to the sweat of watching the game quite like having a shot at over $1.5 million in prizes.
Download the DraftKings app now and use code TOMAHAWK. For a limited time, both new and existing users can get a deposit bonus up to $500. New users, don't forget to enter our code TOMAHAWK to get a free shot at over $1.5 million in prizes with your first deposit. That's code TOMAHAWK only at DraftKings.
Minimum $5 deposit required. Deposit bonus requires a 25 times playthrough. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details.
All right, Ghost in the Sean wants to know, Hawk, what is your favorite candy bar? And this is the reason I read this question, is because I know you're going to have a good one here because you're Mr. Sweets.
I am Mr. Sweets. I am a sugar fiend. Listen, we talked about prior to the show, like, yo, let's not go too long on subjects. And we've already, we do that every show and we just keep doing it.
I feel like we're doing pretty good. We're moving along until you brought that up.
Well, that is a precursor to what I'm about to say, because now you know what I'm going to say. I watched The Food That Built America, which was a very interesting docuseries done by the History Channel.
I can't wait to watch that.
And in that, they talk about basically the candy bar industry and how it was built by Milton Hershey, who had an idea to sell milk chocolate in America. And he found some place that he's like, I want to build a whole town around it, Hershey, Pennsylvania. And his competitor, he was actually supplying with chocolate, was the Mars family, who developed Three Musketeers, Snickers, Milky Ways, and he actually was giving the chocolate to his number one competitor. In that, Mars' son, and this is, I'm getting to my favorite candy bar in about 30 seconds. Mars' son was mad that it was actually his dad's company and he wouldn't give him 30% of the company, that he was like, I'm going to make my own way and do my own thing. At Hershey, the guy who was running the company thought that once Milton Hershey retired, he would become the CEO. Milton Hershey made someone else the CEO when he retired. So you have two disgruntled employees from opposite ends, both whose last name I think started with M. They came together and said, let's make our own candy bar. And they called it the M&M. M&M is my favorite candy bar. And that is a true story of how M&Ms were developed. How wild is that?
That's a great story, but M&Ms aren't candy bars.
That is a candy bar. What?
Ouch.
And M&Ms aren't a candy bar?
It's a snack. It'd be like saying Goldfish is my favorite candy bar.
I mean, it's candy, but it's not a bar.
That's stupid. that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. M&M is a candy bar.
So if you had to pick a candy bar and answer the damn question, what would be your favorite candy bar?
M&M is a candy bar. That is not in the candy bar category.
All right.
It's not a bar. It's like a little piece, like a Reese's piece or a Skittle.
Are you serious right now?
Candy item. We're looking for a candy bar. Sorry, Hawk. Wrong answer. We're looking for a candy bar. Well, I'm going to take this one since you refused to answer the question.
I answered it.
My favorite candy bar is a Snickers because they're delicious and they have caramel and I love them, but I don't eat them very much.
Okay. So M&Ms aren't a candy bar is what you're telling me. I think a lot of our listeners would disagree. Hit us up on social media at ThomaHawk Show.
Put it on a Twitter poll
if M&Ms is a candy bar. All right, next question comes from Reddit, Vinero. Again, I don't quite know what's going on with the username.
That's like a play on Robert De Niro, I think.
Okay, I'll take it. All right, on the show last week, you mentioned some things rookies had to do in their first year, like buying food, etc. Were there any other locker room rituals for newcomers? Did either of you have to go through any? Joe, what did they hate you to do?
Every team has their own little ritual and hoops that the rookies have to jump through. When I was a rookie, they first of all shaved my head, which gave me a beautiful haircut that I've now revisited later in life as more of my hair has decided to run away. We had to buy McDonald's on Saturday mornings. We had to buy pizzas for the offensive line, like if we had late meetings in training camp. You had to carry pads. If the older guys ever needed you to go to the store and buy food or whatever for them. You were just kind of like their secretary. One thing that I had to do in training camp is whenever I went into the cafeteria, they bought like this little pig hat. It looked like a piggy bank. It was like a pink piggy bank hat and it had wings on it. And the offensive lineman made me put that on and wear it in the cafeteria during all meals during training camp to try to like humiliate me or whatever. And so I would wear that and people would come in and take the liberty to just point and laugh right in my face. And
love it.
You know, after a while, you're like, all right, I get it. I'm sick of it. I'm wearing a freaking piggy bank with wings on my head. Okay, I get it. This is cool. End of this joke. Let's move on with our life now. What about you, Hawk?
No, that was good that you answered it because I have nothing because I came to the league from Canada.
You were 30.
I was like, I was 38 years old with 7 kids. 2 of them actually played on the defensive side of the ball. So nobody could make me do anything. I was 25 when I came, and like AJ was a rookie. And I think we had a couple, like there were players that were on the team for years that were already younger than me. So they felt weird about trying to make me go get Popeyes for them. So I just flew under the radar, man. No hazing for your boy.
All right. Question number 6 comes from Reddit user AE Grant 71. And he asks, what's the pecking order for who gets to pick the music in the locker room? Is it an offense versus defense thing, or is it all about seniority?
I don't think there is a pecking order. I think it's just rando. I always hate locker room music, man. I hate listening to people's music. I hate people thinking I want to hear their music. The worst thing is the guy who brings the waterproof speaker into the shower and plays his music in the shower. It's like, yo, I'm trying to scrub off the stress of professional football, and you're in here playing the Dixie Chicks. Like, I just want to be one with my thoughts right now.
You know who was the big violator of being the locker room DJ in the shower was our man RG3.
Oh,
he was always playing music in the shower, and I couldn't figure that out. Like, just give me one space where I don't have to listen to somebody else's music. That should be in the shower. And you know what was even more strange than that is it was late one night when Robert was our starter, and quarterbacks, they always stay super late during the week. And I was a late guy too because I like to watch a lot of film. I was big on prep, and I was always nervous that I wasn't going to be ready. So I was watching tons of film. So we were like the last 2 guys in the locker room. And I swear to God, I was in the shower and he had his phone and he was playing music. And he got a FaceTime call. And he answered it, and he FaceTimed from in the shower. Now, granted, there was no nudity that was shown or anything like that to my knowledge, but I thought, man, if there's ever a place where you don't answer a FaceTime call, it's when you're in a communal shower in the NFL, which, unlike what Hawk would like to see, they still don't have separate stalls. So it's just one big prison shower with a bunch of heads around the outside. It's not like curtains or anything like that. So I was thinking to myself, man, that kind of is a faux pas to answer your phone on a FaceTime call when you're in the shower, especially when you're in the shower with like other dudes.
Yeah.
That was a violation. So next time we have RG3 on, we're going to have to ask him about that one.
I hate FaceTime locker room, period. And then, like you said, I'm going to die on that hill. Why don't we separate the showers in NFL locker rooms? I seen something on social media where you can go to a Cowboys game. You can select the players you want to take a picture with. You step back, the pictures, the players then walk onto the screen like augmented reality and get in the picture with you. That's the kind of technology we're working with in these NFL facilities, except nobody can figure out how to put up dividers in a 14-person shower that we got to go shoulder to shoulder. There are times in a away game, this is honest to God truth, we share shower heads. Am I lying, Joe?
No, that's actually happened multiple times.
You put the
Oakland,
shower in the middle,
they only have
you stand
2
on
shower
each
heads.
side. And you wash up, and then one person gets in, he gets out while the other person is washing, and you are literally sharing showers. It's ridiculous.
I can go on Amazon right now and buy 100 shower curtains for probably under $1,000 and put them up in home and away locker rooms for the Browns for the next couple weeks. But yet, for some reason, the NFL doesn't believe in it.
They can't figure it out. I'm going to produce a documentary about the person who pioneers the NFL in setting up dividers in their showers in the locker rooms because it's necessary. I'm going to die on that hill. All right.
So anyways, let me answer that question really quickly for the unknown Reddit user there. In my experience, the best rule about who controls the music is the biggest, strongest, oldest man always gets to control the music. Although that didn't always happen. No. That was always my favorite rule because for a while there, it was me.
Okay, and I'm sure it was terrible. Pac-Man Jones controlled the music in the Bengals locker room.
That's a surprise.
Yeah. He
a lot of country music?
Oh, yeah. A lot of country, a lot of Dixie Chicks, a lot of, I can't even.
He was a Garth Brooks fan, wasn't he?
Country music artist that I'm trying to point to. Yeah. Pac-Man Jones, a lot of Atlanta trap music. All right, we got an extra point because when you have 6 points, you always get an extra point.
Extra point!
So we got Hannah B25 from Instagram. Says, DeMarcus Lawrence denied a fan an autograph for wearing a Giants jersey. Have you guys ever denied a fan before? Joe.
I'm interested if Hannah B25 can follow up on if her being a fan was offended for that fan, or if she felt like DeMarcus Lawrence did a good thing by being loyal to the Cowboys and not signing for a Giants, because Giants Cowboys, those are huge rivals. And so if you're a Giants fan, it's understandable from my perspective for the Cowboys to be like, no, you're a Giants fan. I'm not signing for you. If a Steelers fan came up to me after a game and was like, hey, can I have your autograph? I might say no. I mean, there's some bad blood there. And I don't think that's that crazy. But I will say, to answer her question, I've never denied a fan a request for an autograph if I had time. Of course, like there's situations where you're either like running to catch a meeting or catch a flight, or you're in a game and you know the game's over and you've got to get into the locker room because the coach is about to speak. You know, there's certain situations where you don't have time to spend to sign autographs for somebody. So yes, that's happened, but if you have the time, I think for the most part, most guys are going to sign the autographs. Even if they are wearing the opponent's jersey.
Listen, I think you are the most interesting man in the world, Joe, because some of your takes are so pro-fan, and some of your takes are the complete opposite of what a fan wants to hear, and some of your takes are profane. So it's like, that's just profane and profane. Thank you.
Well done.
So in this situation, yes, this kind of made me upset because I would never deny a little kid an autograph because they're wearing an opposite jersey. I'm happy that they're fans.
So it was a little kid. So that changes it a little bit.
Yeah.
I would say if it's a little kid, usually the kid is the fan of whatever team because their parents are the fan or they live in that city, and they can be fans of a lot of people. Like I feel like the older you get, the more hardened you are to being a fan of only your team. Whereas when you're a kid, like when I was a kid, I loved Reggie White and Brett Favre and the Packers, but I also did cheer for Barry Sanders because I loved watching him play. He was awesome. And so I think for a fan, if it's a little kid, you should probably sign that even if he is wearing a Giants jersey.
I don't think you guys realize how often Joe tells fans no. When he says
I'm not a jerk like you who at the mall refused to sign that poor daughter of whatever that guy that hates you.
There has never been a fan that a fan can't come and like a legitimate fan that you can identify with a face and name and say that Andrew Hawkins wouldn't give their kid an autograph.
You are usually really good at that.
It's never happened. I was the little kid doing it. I used to write letters to players and send cards in the mail and hope they would send it back. Keith Brooking sent me a card back. Chad Scott, who was a corner for the Steelers, he sent me a card back. Rasheed Wallace, I met him once. He gave me an autograph. Eric Bieniemy, offensive coordinator for the Kansas City Chiefs. Hope I can have time to tell that story one day. He gave me an autograph as a kid, but that is why I became such a sports fanatic. So I hated to see the video of him walking by a kid. I thought it was messed up.
We have another 2 extra points. Actually, this one comes from Joe Thomas 73 on Twitter.
Another dumbass username.
He would like to ask, as a professional athlete, would it make you uncomfortable if somehow your address became public and fans were sending directly to your house things for you to sign, or do you not care about it? And the reason this person on Twitter asked this is because when they were living in Cleveland, the house address became public, and that person got a lot of fan mail to the house, and it made him a little bit uncomfortable because there could be some crazy fans out there that, you know, now that they have your address and by signing all these things and writing back to all these different fans that write it to your house, one of them may be using it as a cover to find out if that's really your house before they come and do bad things to the house.
Yeah, no, that sucks. And it is, you don't want people having your home address because it gets weird. One time, a delivery man tweeted, "Hey, I just delivered to your house," and he like took a picture of my address on the box and put it out on social media. And
thanks
I'm
a
like,
lot, buddy.
"Oh, sweet." Luckily, I've since moved from there, but I was like, "Oh, that was awesome." Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, what's next, man?
So actually, we have a third extra point, being that now that extra points are a little further back, they're so much more difficult to make. We thought 3 would be the appropriate number. This one comes from @JoeThomas73 on Twitter again. He's a big fan of the Tomahawk, and he asks,
Hate this
did
dude.
you see that video of Bill Belichick stone cold avoiding the handshake from the fan when he was coming out of the tunnel from, I don't know, this is last year, I think.
Yeah, no, that's every week because Bill Belichick, he doesn't shake his own team's hand. So why would I expect him to shake a fan's hand? Literally, we walked in a hallway 40 yards long, just us two, and he didn't even make eye contact with me.
Did you try to reach your hand out to give him a handshake?
I went for the whole,
ignored it?
the straight bro hug. Like, my guy Bill B, what up, bruh?
What up, Double B?
And he like chopped my arm down. And
So do we think it's okay that he's on brand even when he's meeting young fans and he refuses to slap them 5?
yeah, he's just a grumpy old man. That's what, I mean, he's a grumpy old man who knows football better than every other human. Like, you got to respect that. All right, well, I think that's good for our Pick 6 segment with 3 extra points that an idiot Twitter username @JoeThomas73 submitted. We're going to make a call
Smartest thing
now.
you've ever said.
Let's call our guy, big friend of the show, ThomaHawk creator, Travis Kelce.
Hello?
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 Hello. You've reached the Tomahawk Line.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, it is a pleasure to welcome in the greatest tight end in the history of the National Football League. And not only that, he renamed the podcast last time he was on to the ThomaHawk Show that everyone was super.
ThomaHawk, baby.
ThomaHawk is back. Travis Kelce, I don't think I gave his name. Travis Kelce, ladies and gentlemen. Travis, how does it feel to be the first three-peat guest of the ThomaHawk Show?
Oh, nice. That's a surprise. I would have thought you guys have had plenty of Clevelanders jump on the show. And a lot more special guys than myself, for sure. But it's awesome, man. I appreciate you guys having me all these times.
That's the first time I can disagree with you because you are the most special Clevelander that I've ever met, outside of Stipe, of course, because he is the world champ now. And I got to know.
He is the world
champ. Were you
champ.
cheering for our man Stipe? Did you get an opportunity to watch that great fight?
Yes. So I jumped on the app on the plane, on the bus ride to the plane. It was right after one of our preseason games. But yeah, I saw him knock. Was it Crummer? I don't even know the dude's name. I saw him knock him out, and
it doesn't matter.
It was, the champ still.
Listen,
to this day.
Kelce, if you had to fight Stipe, what is your strategy? You're both two pretty big
Kick him in
guys.
the balls.
Okay, ball kick. Nice. That's legendary strategy. You should actually be a UFC coach.
Distract his mind.
Let's get right into some football, Kelce. And by football, I mean you're Kansas City Chiefs and you're all-everything quarterback, who is amazing, by the way. He reminds me of so many of the Cleveland QBs that I played with. But so he attempted to throw you a no-look pass in the game, and it actually did look like a Cleveland Browns pass. What was your thought process when you sprung wide open and you know you have the greatest, most talented quarterback anyone's ever seen? He no-looked you, and he overthrew you. How did that make you feel?
I mean, in my mind, I'm just like, there's got to be somebody back there, right? There's got to be. And so I was like, oh, wow, that was to me. And then you look at it, and the camera view from behind the end zone, I mean, that's blatant. There's no way he could hide from that. You could just slow motion see that he was no looking at it. But, yeah, he said it. I mean, he owes me dinner. But we'll see.
So Kansas City's known for some good barbecue joints. Where are you going to make Patrick take you to dinner?
You know what? I might just make him take me up to Minsky's Pizza where he can get a Kelceroni.
Ooh.
Some of the proceeds are going to 87 and Running, which is helping out the underserved kids in the Kansas City community.
I love that.
Well,
I love that. Well, listen, so barbecue, how many more times does Patrick Mahomes have to miss you on a pass before you actually have the conversation with him and say, hey, man, no more no-look passes for me?
You know what? I just keep them coming.
Just keep them
They're
coming.
going to start to land. That's his first miss. Yeah, just keep them coming.
Okay.
I don't think I'll ever really say anything.
As long as you're passing the ball to Travis, he's happy. Like, he doesn't really care if it's no look, if it's look, if he misses him once or twice. Well, as long as the ball is coming to Trav, he's a happy guy.
We crunched the numbers up until this point, and it's Googleable by Spot Track. Travis has made roughly $32 million in his career. He has 32 career touchdowns. By that standard, each touchdown is worth $1 million. So this better be a hell of a barbecue or a Kelce pizza that he's taking you for.
Yeah, that is actually. I mean, when you put it like that, it kind of like, yeah, come on, just put it in there.
Maybe,
you know what I mean? Like,
maybe he can get you a Richard Mille watch that you can rock during the game.
You know, I don't think Andy Reid will allow that in the Kansas City locker room. So he can keep it.
We were talking all about the OBJ watch, and Hawk really had to educate me because I didn't really know what the Richard Mille watch was, and I had no idea how expensive it was. But would you ever spend $300 or $400 or however many hundred thousands of dollars just for a watch?
Absolutely, he would.
Well, no, Hawk, I didn't ask you. I asked Travis. I want to hear from his mouth.
I would not.
Oh, wow. Swag daddy.
Not.
Are you serious?
Three. I mean, how much money am I making? Am I making Odell money, or am I?
You're making Odell.
You're
making
Odell,
or Joe Thomas.
If we're making
money.
Odell money, then yeah, I'd probably play in the game with a $350,000 watch.
There you go.
Well, that's the question. All right, so you're not going to buy the watch, but if they gave it to you, because they probably gave Odell the watch for free, would you wear it in a game though and risk it breaking?
I mean, is it in the contract? I mean, what are we really talking about?
Yeah.
I think I would go for it.
All right.
I'd go for it.
I think we're on the same page there. I would too, especially if somebody gave it to me. I really wouldn't care then. Travis, who talked the most shit in the game from the Jaguars? Who was like talking the most? Because they're a talkative bunch, the whole defense over there.
20 can run his mouth pretty good. And 44 would you happen quite a bit, but we knew that going into it. I mean, it's nothing new. They were doing it last year and the year before. So
do you talk smack?
I mean, you kind of understand. Only when yeah.
Only when.
That's all I can really say. Yeah, I was gonna just get into like the philosophical reason why I talk back, but then that's just giving ammo to the defense.
Okay.
To do that.
We won't do that.
Trigger me.
That's smart.
Yeah. You never know who's listening to the ThomaHawk Show.
Speaking about something else that gives me a very excited reaction, your brother was in the Body Issue of ESPN the magazine, and was there any smack talk between the two of you after you got to see his naked body?
No. I was actually kind of embarrassed. Probably how he felt about my TV show was I was kind of like, man, I don't even want to talk to this guy.
Were you jealous?
I think he mentioned that, but I was like, man, was I? No, I was not.
Were you jealous that he was approached to pose naked in a magazine before you were, as the heartthrob that you are?
No.
No?
That is not why I was embarrassed. I don't really know.
Okay.
You know what it was? Is just the pale cheeks. At least jump in the tanning bed or something like. And the flying V on the front cover, the main port though, the flying V with the eagle over the genitals.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I mean, that was a little close, like thigh to cheek. It looked like they were right on each other.
They were close. They were definitely getting acquainted. Joe Thomas knows about that with his offensive line.
Well, yeah, I think it should be asked because ESPN the magazine, the Body Issue, they always talk about, we're celebrating all these bodies, right? But as a former offensive lineman, I've seen plenty of offensive linemen in the shower, and it's not a pretty sight. So can you get on board with a petition from me and Hawk that ESPN the Body should ban offensive linemen from being in their naked issue?
No. Why would I do that? Jason's a trendsetter, man.
He is a trendsetter.
He's setting trends. Next year is going to be hopefully the Kansas City Chiefs offensive line, and then Mitchell Schwartz will be on the front cover.
Mitchell Schwartz on the butt naked on the front of ESPN.
Oh my God!
I'm all for
Cancel
it.
my subscription.
Let's go. All right. So in the offseason, Rob Gronkowski called it a career, and it was always a debate of who was the best tight end in the NFL. Is it Travis Kelce or is it Gronk? We'll start off here.
Not on this show. There was no debate on this show, just so you know.
If you didn't hear the intro, we already know what the answer to that question is. Do you feel like you are the best tight end in the NFL unequivocally?
I don't even know what unequivocally means. Yes, I do.
Even prior to Gronk retiring, obviously you felt that way, correct?
I mean, yes, I feel like I give my team the best chance to win. I mean, that's just the confidence that I've always had.
I love it.
I've been fortunate to be coached by some greats. Andy Reid's been able to put me in a situation to, every single week be able to maximize my strengths, and then sure enough, just going out there and having fun on the field. But yeah, I feel like
we agree. We think even when Gronk was still playing, that you were easily the best tight end in the NFL, and we celebrate that on a daily basis. But talking about Andy Reid, I'm always amazed during my career, and now that I'm in the media game with my man Hawk, we love watching Andy Reid because he always seems like he's got his team more well prepared for the beginning of the season than any other team in the NFL, maybe save for the Patriots. But do you think there's anything different that you guys do versus other teams in the NFL to get yourselves so ready for that week one action where a lot of teams, they go out and they look really rusty?
I think Coach Reid switches it up very well year to year in terms of where the offense goes, how it evolves, things like that, which, I mean, now it's a question mark of what we're doing, where we're going with the play calling. So we kind of get that jump on everyone in the beginning of the season and the beginning of games. And, that just helps you out. That's why, when you're with him, like, he's going to put you in an opportunity or a situation that's going to be, one of your strengths, and all you have to do is just go out there and play ball. And I mean, I've been forever fortunate since I've been in the league.
I love it. Listen, the other hot button topics we just want to hit you on, because that's like, we can't have Travis Kelce on and not get his take on literally everything that we give our takes on. We're all one and the same. We're just waiting for you to hang him up to join the show. That's it. So AB,
Hawk's been talking about trading me out for a while, and I'm starting to get a little nervous that he's eyeing you, and whenever you decide to retire, that you're going to be his first draft pick.
There's no replacing that.
Listen. Okay, so listen. AB obviously is a hot button topic in the league. He was with the Raiders. He did anything possible to get out of that contract. I'm not going to ask you to specifically comment on AB because you'll probably play him in the AFC Championship, so that's fine. But tell me this. What would you do if you went to a team that you didn't want to be at? What is the crazy thing that you would do, Travis Kelce, to get them to release you?
Man. That is a great question, man. This is like evil, like mastermind, like thought.
Yeah,
I have no idea. I have no idea. I haven't come across this one.
You haven't crossed this one?
It would get real strategic, though. It would have to.
Yeah, I mean, naturally.
Man, do you know what I would do? I don't know. I don't know if I would do something like as aggressive as record a conversation. I don't know if it would be that aggressive.
That was aggressive, wasn't it?
He wouldn't break the law, is what I was trying to say. No wiretapping. So it was funny, when I was like in my 7th year, the Broncos were making a run. Peyton Manning was still the quarterback. Peyton called me up and basically asked me to go Antonio Brown on our GM at the time in order to get traded, because there was some conversation about trading me to the Broncos because they had lost their left tackle for the season. And he asked me to go into my general manager's office and to poop on his desk. Travis Kelce. If you were not playing for the Chiefs, if you were playing for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Chiefs wanted to trade for you, would you go and poop on your GM's desk in order to get traded to the Kansas City Chiefs to play for Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I would probably poop on the desk for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like you gotta. There's some opportunities you just can't pass.
You just can't pass. Joe definitely missed the boat. And for the record, the Broncos won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah,
and he didn't.
So I got a Super Bowl ring in spirit.
Yeah.
Hey,
okay, so another one. You're the most fashionable guy in the league.
Oh, thanks.
You're the most respected as far as my eyes are concerned. What NFL player do you see their fashion and you say, man, that guy sucks at dressing?
Besides Mitchell Schwartz.
Obviously, Mitchell Schwartz dresses like an idiot.
No, Mitch does great. He actually gave me a shoe guy. He gave me a recommendation on a shoe guy.
Wow.
And I've used him. So thank you, Mitchell.
I'm actually just kidding.
Mr. Schwartz. He came to Kansas City and found the plug.
Mitch's nickname in Cleveland was Big Sexy, so that was obviously a joke, Mitch, if you're listening. Obviously, you're listening. Come on, give us somebody. Give us somebody that you're like, okay, he could do better. Is that a better way to put it? I don't want to start any beef, but... All right. Well,
I don't even know who. I don't even.
It's good.
Like recognize how guys are dressing. Like
it's
that,
good that you're not answering because this gives us a reason to bring you on for a fourth time. Okay, so that's not even.
Yeah. All right. I'll do some homework. I'll do some homework.
I got one more question from you. This one's from Reddit from our guy Mistake Maker 1234. We've seen a lot of players retiring in their prime. What motivates you to keep your body on the line every single week and just keep that quest going for chasing the championship?
I've always been a guy that every team I've been on, man, I've gotten close with coaches. I've gotten close with the players as like a brotherhood, a family. And man, Coach Reed, I mean, he's been in there a while now, and I mean, hasn't got a ring on it. So I mean, just coming to work, being accountable, getting it from my guy, Coach Andy Reid, and Coach Eric Bieniemy, the guys that haven't tasted the ring yet. You know, that drives me every single day, even the days when it gets tough. So
yeah. So money. No, that's good. You said Eric Bieniemy. Before we let you go, I'm going to tell you a quick Eric Bieniemy story. When I was 11, I had a cousin who was an undrafted free agent to the Bengals. And my brother, who also played in the league, was in college at the time. He played for the University of Cincinnati. My cousin, G. Roy Simon, was undrafted to the Bengals. So we went to Cincinnati for a day of camp. It was the first NFL experience I'd ever had. We were super dirt poor at the time. But my brother took us to camp to go watch my cousin. We watched the practice, the NFL guys. And I'm like, the Bengals, man, that's a pretty cool team. This is pretty cool to see NFL players. Eric Bieniemy is their starting fullback. He's coming off the field. He points in the stands at me and was like, yo, you, come here. And I'm like, me? He's like, yeah, you, what's your name? I'm like, Andrew. And he's like, oh, Edgar. Come here, Edgar. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'm Edgar then. So he hands me
young Edgar.
He hands me his shoulder pads and helmet. He's like, yo, take us in the locker room. Now, meanwhile, I'm 10 years old or something like that, right? I've never been in a locker room. I have no idea what goes on. An NFL player is literally making me carry his pass to the locker room. I go in. First person I see is Jeff Blake. I see Boomer Esiason. They're at the door like having a quarterback conversation. He's like, yo, come in and get some autographs. Gives me a program, gives me a marker. I look, everybody's butt-ass naked. I'm 10 years old. I'm like, why is everyone naked? This is literally a traumatizing experience for a 10-year-old. So I'm getting my autographs, and I'm just scared to death. Like, yo, why is everyone naked? And he's like, yo, good job. And I'm like, yo, that was an awesome experience. But at the same time, I don't know if I was ready for it, Coach.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
I became a Bengals fan.
That's an aggressive experience to have.
I don't know why I became a Bengals fan, but here we are. Travis, man, we appreciate you as always. Join us on the ThomaHawk Show. See you back here for a fourth time. Keep killing it, brother. And we are pulling for you to win the Super Bowl, all right?
I appreciate you having me on the best damn podcast out there.
Hey.
Ooh, say it again.
ThomaHawk.
The best damn podcast out there.
All right, brother.
Thanks a lot, Trav.
Appreciate it, Trav. Talk soon.
All right, fellas. Have a good
See
one.
you.
You know it.
Well, there you have it. Travis Kelce, friend of the show. First time we've had somebody on 3 times. And I would say a third time was the charm. That was my favorite Travis Kelce interview yet. And it makes me wonder and question a little bit the character of Ozzie Newsome, because he once asked Travis Kelce, son, are you a fucking asshole? And you know what? Travis Kelce's got to be one of the nicest guys I have ever met. He continuously amazes me with how nice he is. And all the times where he's on the field taunting people and roughing up people on the field, that just means he's a great competitor.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. People always ask me. As a matter of fact, John, our producer here, he asked me the other day who was my favorite player in the NFL, and I told him Travis Kelce. Like, the dude he's salt of the earth. He's funny. He's nice to everybody. I'm just a huge fan of him.
And he's a great dresser and a great player. Best tight end in the NFL.
Yes.
Even when Gronk was playing.
Yes, he is the GOAT.
Well, yeah, I think that actually does it for today's episode of the ThomaHawk Show. If you want to interact with our show, There's lots of ways to do that. You can hit us up on Instagram, Twitter, or Reddit at ThomaHawk Show. Come on, join our Facebook group, ThomaHawk. You can call the voicemail. Drop us a message, 440-628-1376.
All right, yeah, man. Make sure you're tuned in. Every Sunday night, we're dropping video episodes. So we want to be the first ones out because we are the best. We are the most prepared. We have the hottest takes. And we want you to make sure you are getting the fill and the brunt of all of our greatness here on the ThomaHawk Show. So check us out twice a week now. What else? Joe, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Dak Prescott is about to be the highest paid quarterback in NFL history, but he's not going to pay his agent 3%. No. He's going to pay new offensive coordinator Kellen Moore 3% because Kellen Moore has put together an offense that Dak Prescott is thriving in right now.
Okay.
He is using shifts and motions on almost 70% of their plays after week 1 against the Giants, whereas former offensive coordinator Scott Linehan was only using shifts and motions on about 43% of the plays. And as you know, Hawk, pre-snap shifts and motions help you identify man-to-man coverage versus zone coverage. And last week against the Giants, Dak Prescott was 5 of 5, 95 yards, touchdown, a 158.3 passer rating. I think that's perfect. Versus man coverage when he was using motion. Expect to see lots of shifts and motions and lots of hugs from Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott the rest of the way because Kellen Moore is about to make more money as Dak Prescott's agent / offensive coordinator than he did as a journeyman quarterback, which he was in the NFL.
All right. One person had more yards than Dak Prescott. You know who it was?
Lamar Jackson.
No, it was Andy Dalton. Joe, take us out.
Damn. Joe Hawk yourself.